AEW All Out was decent yet disappointing. For the first time outside the pandemic era, AEW All Out took place outside of their usual location, Chicago, Illinois, and this new location just so happened to be my hometown, my kingdom of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Emanating from the Scotiabank Arena, AEW brought one of their biggest pay-per-view events of the year. As expected, I immediately jumped at the chance to get my tickets to the show and was ready for an amazing banger. And I rarely got that at all. For one thing, the show was too long, clocking in at 5 hours, with some matches lasting longer than they really should have. A wrestling show lasting 5 hours was overkill when WrestleMania used to do that once a year. Now AEW does it for all their events. There were some amazing matches, but the time length of the event along with the poor execution of many matches led this event to be decent yet disappointing. I can say this for sure, AEW's All Out definitely beat WWE's WrestlePalooza that took place on the same day. We kicked things off with a tag team match featuring FTR against Toronto's own Christian Cage and Adam Copeland. This tag team match knocked it out of the park and set the tone for what the rest of the night should have been. Stokely Hathaway attempted to get involved multiple times and was taken out by the surprise appearance of Adam's wife, the former Beth Phoenix. Adam Copeland got the win with a spear, but FTR were the ones standing tall in the end as they performed a pile driver on Beth, leaving everyone in shock. Overall, I give this tag team match a 4 out of 5. I think the interferences were a little too much, but it was still a great start. Up next, we had Big Bill taking on the returning Eddie Kingston. Of course, AEW just flat out revealed to everyone that Eddie was returning at the show instead of keeping it a surprise. But even then, the match itself fell very flat and suffered from many miscommunications. It ended with Eddie Kingston connecting his signature spinning back fist, or at least one of the most awkward fists I've ever seen. As a result, the crowd was left confused and disappointed. Hook made the save on a post-match assault, which was sadly more entertaining than the actual match itself. Because of the disappointments, I give this match a 1.5 out of 5. Unbelievable. Next up was the match stipulation I was very curious about, the tables and tacks match between Mark Briscoe and MJF. Early on, Mark covered the entire ring canvas with thumbtacks, and to say the match was brutal is an understatement. Still, the match suffered from a problem I didn't like. The first time someone went into the thumbtacks was brutal, but the next number of slams kinda took it away because we had already seen it happen. Plus, shoving thumbtacks into someone's mouth is overkill due to the risk of permanent injury or death. Mark Briscoe got the win, which honestly surprised me as MJF tends to be the one who sneaks a win regardless of the predicament he's in. But I still give it a 3.5 out of 5 for keeping a good tone of brutality even if it was overkill for the wrong reasons at times. Next, we have a 6-man tag team match between the Hurt Syndicate and the Demand. Truthfully, this match was very boring, never picked up, and lasted way too long. It also was the match where I went to use the restroom and got some dinner as it was almost 5 in the afternoon. Ricochet got the win over MVP, the latter's performance reminding me why he's mostly a manager instead of a wrestler. And it's for the reasons I listed that I give the match a 2.25 out of 5. I watched the match back before I did this review, by the way. Coming off the disappointing 6-man tag was the AEW TBS Championship match as the CEO Mercedes Moné showed up with a bunch of shirtless dudes for some reason to defend her title against AEW's first ever women's champion, Riho. And the match was, without a doubt, the worst of the night. It never picked up, bored the audience to sleep, lasted way too long, and ended with the awkward moneymaker. The crowd didn't react much to Mercedes retaining her title either, as they were bored out of their mind, rightfully so. For that, I give this match a 1 out of 5, the lowest rated match of the night. What a shame too, because both these women are better than that garbage match. Up next was a triple threat match for the AEW Unified Championship. Defending champion Kazuchika Okada faced off against Mascara Dorado and Konosuke Takeshita. This match woke the audience back up from the prior 2 matches and was mostly non-stop with the action. The 3 wrestlers did a good job with the creativity and amazed me many times. I'll give the match a 4 out of 5. Definitely one of the best matches of the night. It ended with Okada getting the victory and retaining his title with the Rainmaker. After that, we had a coffin match between Jon Moxley and Darby Allin. While it definitely was brutal and had some killer moments, it also had too many interferences and a very mid return of Pac, whom nobody recognized whatsoever. Due to Pac's interference, Darby was placed in the casket, allowing Moxley to shut the lid and win the match. I'll still give the match a 3.75 out of 5 because despite the interferences and poor ending, it was still fun to watch. Next up, the AEW Women's World Championship was on the line. Champion Timeless Toni Storm faced off against Chris Statlander, Tekla, and Jamie Hayter. Unfortunately, the match rarely picked up well with the audience or myself. Despite having 4 amazing women competing in the ring, the match did not do so well even despite the shocking ending, which of course was Chris Statlander getting the surprising victory, winning her first ever AEW Women's title. In doing so, Chris made history as the first female to have won both the AEW Women's and TBS championships. I give this match a 2.75 out of 5 for being a decent match with a shocking ending. Nearly 4 hours into the show, we move on to the ladder match for the AEW Tag Team Championship. By this point, the crowd was pretty exhausted due to the length. See the problem, guys? Anyways, Brodito defend their titles against the Don Callis family, Jet Speed, and the Young Bucks. I honestly enjoyed this match very much. All 4 teams did a good job with the high-risk maneuvers, the chaos, the climbing, but unfortunately the match went on longer than it should have and had too many false finishes. Still though, I will give this match a 3.75 out of 5. Brodito got the win by unhooking the championships, though it was the ending of the match that people remember the most. The Young Bucks, in a fit of rage, attacked Brodito and were stopped by Jack Perry, who reunited with his former tag team partner Luchasaurus. Jurassic Express reunited and the fans sang along to the Tarzan Boy song. It was truly an amazing moment. Now, it was time for the main event. The main event was Hangman Adam Page defending the AEW World Championship against TNT Champion Kyle Fletcher. The AEW Champion versus the TNT Champion, something that actually happened at last year's All Out when Bryan Danielson faced off against Jack Perry. I do wonder if this is going to be a thing here. Guess we'll find out. I gave the main event a 3 out of 5, which is not bad under normal circumstances, but in the main event of a pay-per-view for a World Championship, that seems a little low. The match went on for literally 40 minutes, but for the first 30, it felt like both men forgot how good they were at wrestling. Not to mention pulling out a table just to forget about it for almost the whole match. Only in the last 10 minutes did the match pick up, but by then the crowd was practically done with how long the event was and how low the match was for the first 30 minutes. Hangman Page got the win with a buckshot lariat, and the show ended with him standing tall, retaining the AEW Championship. My final rating on AEW All Out was 53%, a very mixed review. If some matches were either cut for time or cut off the card entirely, this would have been a better show. AEW has a major problem with putting their shows on way too long, and it was felt in the arena. Traditionally, every AEW pay-per-view is 4 hours, but nowadays every pay-per-view is 5 hours, with All in Texas lasting 6 freaking hours. And none of this involves the pre-show either. Even if there are good matches, the crowd is left exhausted by the end, and not for the right reasons. This also includes fans watching at home. I am really hoping the future AEW pay-per-views are not going to exceed the time they already did. But what are your overall thoughts on AEW All Out? Let me know in the comments, and make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel.